So now I'm finding out that he accused her, but asked him. Um, we ended up getting off the phone. Should I take care of some things? Whatever. I think at some point he called her, whatever the case was. We got off the phone. A little later, my phone rings. Again, I have caller ID. This is a house phone, and it's his job number. I answered the phone, and he's, "Hey Mary, how's it going?" Talking to me like everything's normal, and I'm like, "It's cool. I'm good. Whatever." He was like, "Is Jay there?" So yeah, I passed Jay the phone. Now I can hear everything. It's loud. He says to Jay, "Hey, I just wanted to make sure we was good." And Jay was like, "We cool." And he was like, "Well, yeah, I felt bad for asking you that. And again, y'all really been welcoming. So I just wanted to make sure we were cool." And Jay was like, "We're cool." And he was like, "Okay." He was like, "You didn't tell Mary, right?" And Jay was like, "No." He was like, "Okay, because I know how y'all let me come and stay there and everything. And I really appreciate it." Okay. So Jay gets off the phone with him, and we put the phone down. I pick up the phone and I call Takara. And I'm like, "Hey, what you doing?" And she's like, "Nothing." We talked for a couple minutes. I was like, "So you going to the hotel?" And she was like, "No." We talk about that. And she said, "Hold on. Andre's calling me." So she clicks over. When she clicks back over, she was like, "Yeah, I told him I was on the phone with you." And she's like, he sound panicked. And he was like, "You didn't tell her nothing, right?" And she said, "I told him no." So now I'm mad. I said, "Okay, look, the next time I see or talk to Andre, I'm going to let him know that I know." I said, "I'm not trying to disrespect you. I'm not trying to disrespect my husband's wishes, but I'm going to let him know I know." And I said this in front of Jay on the phone with her. I'm going to let him know that I know. The reason why I'm going to let him know that I know is because why does he want to keep it a secret so bad? Why does he want you to not tell me and he doesn't want Jay to not tell me? To me, that looks suspicious. If y'all aren't telling me, then he feels like something could really be going on. I want him to know that both of you guys came and told me what was going on. I said, furthermore, if you choose to stay with him, that is on you. However, the fact that he is calling you a hoe the way he is calling you a hoe by accusing you of sleeping with your best friend's husband who just had a baby while you're staying at his house. I mean, nowadays, you guys, it's a lot more common. Back then, you didn't hear about a lot of that stuff. Maybe because we didn't have social media like this. That's why you didn't hear about a lot of that stuff. But it was not a thought in my head. Okay. And if he calling you a hoe like that, why you want to be with him? But that's on you. But he's now telling my husband to keep something from me. That's a no-no. You don't do that. Why are you telling my husband to not tell me something? That's a problem. Okay. So, um, that was the end of our conversation. Now, I was not going to call him at work, trying to track him down. Like I said, he didn't have a cell phone. So I was waiting for him to call us again so that I could let him know, boom, I know you tripping. Like, I don't like it. I don't like you now. You're weird, whatever. But I was not going to go tracking him down, looking for him, or trying to call him, trying to reach him. Wasn't doing that. The next day, Sunday, I speak to Takara, and she did not go meet him. She was again saying she didn't know if she wanted to be with him anymore because she was sick of it, that they argued all night, and that she mentioned to me that he said something that she tried to kind of bypass, but it stuck in my head. And what she said was, he made the comment basically along the lines was, um, yeah, it was probably a good thing you didn't come to the hotel because I was gonna kill you. Like he was gonna strangle her. I remember this so well because I remember every time after her actual murder driving past that hotel thinking about that. It really stuck out. It really blew me away. And I knew I was completely 100% done with him and wanted nothing to do with him. At that time, I learned that they would fight. Um, Not anything abusive, but like they lost their apartment from getting into it. Now, Takar was crazy. Don't get me wrong. Takar was feisty. Takar didn't take no mess from nobody. So, yeah. Um, but I know I didn't like what I was hearing. I didn't like that he asked my husband to keep something from me. I didn't like that he was calling my friend a hoe. I didn't like that I offered my home for him to come and stay, for him then to act like this. I didn't like any of this that was going on. I didn't like it, you guys. I did not like it. So Monday comes and she comes over there. She came pretty late in the evening and we talked, and she had pretty much decided that she didn't want to be with him anymore. She had goals, she had plans that we started to talk about, and I felt good for her. Good for her. Okay? Um Monday night, he calls the phone. And he calls from a payphone at the gas station right next door to my apartment complex. And I know this because he's called from this payphone before. So I know this payphone number. Um, it said Shell, and I knew the number. So I knew he was close by. But she already knew how I felt about him. She knew I didn't want him at my house. Okay. So he wanted to talk to her, and she went outside and talked to him apparently. I went to sleep. Okay. I'm working again at this time. I got to get up early. I have a newborn baby. I'm tired. I'm going to bed at reasonable hours. And so I go to bed. And after I go to bed, I guess he came and she went outside and talked to him. Well, sometime in the middle of the night, it was either midnight sometime or 2 a.m. sometime. I remember at 2. I remember her waking me up while I was asleep to tell me that Andre was outside and he wanted to talk to me. And I remember being so pissed off at her and basically cussing her out to tell her to get the F out of my face because I have work in the morning and I'm not getting up to talk to him. Like, I was kind of like, girl, what are you doing? Kind of thing. That's what's going on in my mind. I remember being pissed at her. Pissed. Okay. So she leaves. She gets up, she leaves, and I guess she goes back outside to talk to him. I wake up the next morning around 6 something because again, I got to be at work at 7 or 7:30ish, and I see my sister-in-law sleep in the living room. I see Takara's baby sleep in the living room. But no Takara. Okay. I walk outside and who do I see? Her and him sitting on the stairs talking. Apparently they had been out there all night talking. All night. He sees me and he gets up and he approaches me.